And what we find that is in 2017, to a very alarming extent, sadly, the hateful rhetoric crossed into hateful reality. In the USA, we saw the reinstatement of the Global Gag Rule, depriving millions of women and girls worldwide of vital health care. The travel bans aimed at mainly Muslim countries, the dramatic cutback on refugee resettlement numbers, leaving thousands more in limbo, and a new climate of permissiveness for xenophobia and hatred arising from President Trump's failure to condemn it when he saw it.
We're all ready to talk about the report and the important work that Amnesty International is doing.
Peddling hatred and fear against whole groups of people based on who they are ultimately leads only in one direction. When leaders foster it or turn a blind eye, the end game is horrific and literally fatal.
Our third speaker, Tarana Hassan, director of our crisis work, will be able.
In 2017, we saw no clearer example than the Myanmar military's campaign of ethnic cleansing against the Rohingya population, led by General Min Aung Hlaing, which drove more than 600,000 women, men, and children to flee in terror. It was arguably the biggest human rights story of 2017, but a story with its roots in years of hatred and systematic discrimination against the Rohingya.
It seems abhorrent, but the international community, when they look back at 2017 and they look at how they could have prevented mass atrocities, how they could have responded to crimes against humanity, they will not look back and draw any lessons from this. They will look back and they will see that they were part of the drafting of some of the darkest chapters in modern history.
On the US role in it, but I think it's an issue on which I've been quite direct.
2017 taught us one other thing, and that is that outrage and condemnation is not enough. Without concrete action from world leaders, the message that they are sending is no longer never again, it is again and again, and this is unacceptable.
You were speaking earlier very strongly on the atrocities committed against the Rohingya in Myanmar.
So, I think that in terms of accountability for the burning, for the killings, for the mass atrocities that Amnesty International has documented, we really do need to be focusing on the commanders, commanding those units who are on the ground, who are giving those orders, and of course the Commander-in-Chief himself. In terms of Aung San Suu Kyi, she has a role to play. This did not come out of nowhere. The prejudice against the Rohingya, the institutionalized discrimination against the Rohingya, these are issues that should have been dealt with by the civilian government. Specifically,
as you know, she was an Amnesty prisoner of conscience. We fought for her release for 2 decades. So I think and she holds huge sway. She has huge popular support within the people of Myanmar. So she had a responsibility to speak up, and that would change the discourse inside Myanmar. So I think we've been very vocal in our criticism of Aung San Suu Kyi, but we shouldn't get confused in terms of who can actually really move the needle on this issue inside Myanmar, and that is directly with the army. And so that's precisely why we want to target the generals directly.
About the important work that Congress is doing to address the Rohingya situation. Joanne?